Entitled parent tries to sue me when I defend myself after her daughter attacks me. This story all begins last year when I was a senior in high school. I have a lot of stories about high school, but those are other posts for different days. Strap in, it is a long story. Here's the cast. L is Lisa, B's old friend. Entitled mother is EM, B is the female dog that hit me, M is mother, F is friend, P is principal, BB is B's boyfriend, me is me, silly, but when people say my name, I'll be referred to as Alba, which is my last name. Oh, okay, he's given himself away here. So, for a start, let me describe myself. I'm a Korean/Irish girl, and I have what people call a ballerina's body, but I have a strength in my arms and fists primarily. I also had, after all this went down, semi-curly ginger hair that was down to my back. I'm pretty extroverted, so I had many friends in school, and B was one of them when I was in sophomore. But when junior year rolled around, I noticed that B was very toxic. She started to control where we would go in the mall when we hung out, where I sat in the cafeteria during lunch, stuff like that. She also acted like she was superior to other people. Many people didn't like her and complained a lot. So naturally, I started to distance myself from her because 1, I didn't like that type of behavior, and it was annoying, and 2, I didn't want people I met to associate me with her and think that I acted the same way that she did. B did not like this. I guess she liked being in control somewhere in a relationship. B didn't have many friends to begin with, so when I started not being her friend, she had nobody to hang out with. During the winter break, I learned that she started hanging out with BB, this guy in one of my classes, but I didn't care too much because I didn't know him. By the time we came back from winter break, they were making out in the halls, very touchy-feely with each other. Skip to the summer of 2017, I saw B and BB literally everywhere I went. I went to the fair, and they were there too. I once went to the mall to get a custom-made umbrella for my cousin's birthday. I know, weird, but my cousin has a knack for collecting umbrellas. And lo and behold, B walks in, with her boyfriend in tow, and walks up to me and says, "Oh hey Alba, didn't know you'd be here." I was very confused. Now, Redditors, what would a 17-year-old girl and her boyfriend want from a custom shop that only sells umbrellas and other winter items in the middle of summer? And also, I knew that she wasn't invited to my cousin's birthday because she didn't even know my cousin. By that point, I was convinced she was following me around. Senior year swings around, and B starts trying to talk to me again, and I was having none of it, considering the obvious reasons. Then the day before the spring break, she said to me, "Alba, I've seen that you've been ignoring me, and I really don't appreciate it. I'm such a good friend." And I say, "Honestly, B, you're really not. You're kind of manipulative." "How can you say that? I'm really good to you." Well, I beg to differ. Then I walked away. She would shoot daggers at me when I saw her after that, and B was also extremely jealous. When B saw BB talking to a girl, she'd walk up to him and say, "How could you cheat on me with this tramp?" Friend, who was still semi-friends with B, had BB's story sent to her by B. Basically, he posted a story on his Snapchat that said, "With the most supportive person in my life," over a picture of him and a girl, and B, the girlfriend, went nuts. She complained to friend that her boyfriend was cheating on her with who she called that ugly tramp bag. Turns out that was his sister. Fast forward to May of 2018, when the crippity crap hit the fan. I was partnered up with BB in my chemistry class that we had together. B learned about this and went berserk. She had the nerve to come up to me and say, "Keep your filthy racist hands off of my boyfriend, tramp." Keep in mind, she was completely Caucasian, maybe 2% of any other race, but very white. And I've never been racist towards anyone, unlike her. She's called me, my eyes, ching-chong slits, and also called me a drunk ginger, and I'm the racist one? So, a week after that happened, BB had to come over to my house to finish the last part of the project. Turns out B was planning to go to the mall with BB that day, but he had to cancel to come to my house. B was steaming. So the next fateful day, I was in class with BB, and we turned in our project. We were talking about what grade we'd think we'd get, when B came in with these big-ass scissors. Neither BB or me saw her coming. That day, I was wearing my hair in a low ponytail. At this point, I was growing out my hair, and it was very important to me since I had to shave my head in the 8th grade after an accident. I had a hard time reviving my locks, and I was proud. Until then. So on account of friend who was also in class and B came out behind me, pulled my hair, and cut it to about shoulder length. At first I didn't know what happened, but then my brain had processed the snip sound, and I knew what had happened. I whipped my hair around and stood up, and there was B, holding my hair in one hand and the scissors in the other. Here's the dialogue. Me. Did you just cut my hair off? B then dropped my hair on the floor and said, "That's what you get for sleeping with my boyfriend, tramp." Then B proceeded to slap me across the face. It didn't hurt, but I was angry. I looked down at B's hand and it looked like she was getting ready to hit me again. So I did what was necessary and hit her square in the nose. All I hear was a deafening crunch, and her hitting the laminate. Then she started screaming, "She hit me! Ah! Get her arrested!" Next thing I know, I was in the principal's office, explaining what happened and all my previous experiences with B while waiting for my mum to get to the school. I was also very emotional because all my hard work to grow out my hair had been foiled. Principal, so what you're saying is that B came into the room, cut off your hair, and slapped you because you were doing things with B, correct? Me. That's about right. Principal. Okay, so how about you wait here for your mother? 10 minutes later, my mum walks in and started getting angry when she sees my hair because she knows how long it took to grow it all back. The principal quickly briefs the situation to her and she gets even more heated. Basically, I was suspended for a week. I still don't know why I was suspended, even though I was just defending myself. We were told to come to school for a meeting with B and her family and all the witnesses the next day. So the next day, we walk in and we are guided to a big conference room with a big rectangular table in it. We were seated directly across from B and entitled Mother. They were both shooting us dirty looks. Also, there was friend, BB, another friend of B, and Principal. Principal recounts B's side of the story first. She accused me of attacking her with my fists. When the principal asked why my hair was cut off, B said that she grabbed the scissors and cut off my hair so I would stop. There are many reasons why that makes no sense, such as the fact that when the principal came into the room, she was still laying in the floor from my punch, so there's no way she could have cut my hair off after I punched her. Also, 26 other people told that she attacked me first. Then, entitled Mother speaks up. "That wild animal attacked my daughter and broke her nose. She deserves to be in jail." Then my mum spoke up. "No, your daughter attacked mine and cut off her hair." Karen, "That's not true. My little angel is innocent." Friend, "I saw B cut off all of Alba's hair, so that's not true." Karen, "This is bullcrap. You just paid all these people to lie about this." BB, "It's true, B attacked Alba first, then Alba defended herself." B, "You're supposed to be my boyfriend and support me." BB, "Not anymore. I'm breaking up with you." B, "What?" B then starts bawling her eye holes out, and I was trying to hold my laughter. So was friend. Karen, "You don't even have any proof that B did anything." L, "Actually, that's why I'm here. I recorded everything." Turns out B told L what she was doing, and L had had enough of B's crap, and recorded everything she had done. L then played the video, and it clearly displayed my side of the story to a T. Entitled Mother, "This video is doctored to make B look bad." Principal, "Well, everyone and everything says otherwise." Entitled Mother. Principal then turns to me and asks, "Would you like to press charges against her?" Of course I said yes. Principal then reached out to the police and lets me and my mum file a complaint and press charges and stuff. This part is a bit kinda blurry. The Sunday before I get back to school, my mum gets a letter in the mail telling me that we're getting sued for $50,000 for assault. We immediately got an attorney and looked into this. Entitled Mother was accusing me of assault and harassment against B, which is ridiculously untrue. Additional information. I ended up pressing charges for assault and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure she got 4 months in juvenile detention and community service. She also got expelled from school and she does online now. I didn't want to give her maximum punishment because I want her to have a chance in life and be able to become a better person and get a job. I was going to tell you guys what I did against her when we went to court, but someone wanted to know. I also found out that the court date is in a week, so see you soon. I've been reading the comments and some of you said to counter-sue, and I've decided to do just that. I just need to gather my case, and if I win, I will 100% do the worm. Part 2. This story was mostly paraphrased because she had to leave for work in an hour, or in half an hour. Me, my mum, B's boyfriend, and friend all went down to the courthouse yesterday at about 11 a.m. When we were there, seated, I was getting my defense in my counterclaim against B. I decided that I had a pretty good counterclaim thanks to the few strangers. B and Entitled Mother were glancing at me like I was going to lose. Refresh for your brains. Entitled Mother is trying to sue me for $50,000, but little does she know I'm suing for $60,000. So court starts, and Entitled Mother starts her claim by saying that I broke her daughter's nose on purpose, and that I owe her for medical bills, emotional trauma, and B's plastic surgery. They provided the judge with proof that I did. There was a TV in the courtroom, and pictures were displayed there. The pictures were of B's broken nose, but it was clearly photoshopped to make it look worse. She tried to photoshop in more bruises and blood, but she failed miserably. The judge said, "Miss Karen, are these photos doctored?" Karen, "No, not at all. That's what she did to my baby." Then I spoke up and said, "Your Honor, this is photoshopped. I have a copy of the actual photo." The look of shock on Entitled Mother's face could have powered an entire city for a couple of minutes. Thankfully, I had copied the picture when Entitled Mother gave me them so I could think about what I have done. Entitled Mother tried to intervene and say, "Your Honor, you don't have to look at those. Just take my word on it. That one is the one that's doctored." When the judge looked at my pictures, she asked Entitled Mother, "Why would you bring doctored photos in my courtroom?" Karen, "They aren't." The judge dismissed the evidence, and we moved on. I started my counterclaim. She caused me emotional pain and physical pain. I showed evidence like the pictures of my hair and stuff like that. Then it was time for the video. When the officer was bringing the TV in for the video to display, Karen said, "Your Honor, I have suspicions that that video is doctored." Everyone was shocked because she was the one to bring in Photoshopped stuff. The judge ignored her. After the judge and the whole courthouse watched the video, the judge said, "This looks too real to be fake." Karen, "But it is. Trust me. She hit my daughter." Judge, "Don't raise your voice in my courtroom." Entitled Mother, "But B doesn't deserve this. She's a good kid and hit no one." Entitled Mother then had to be escorted out of the room. B, "I did nothing to Alba. She hit me in the first place." Judge, "But I see you cut her hair and assaulted her first." B, "But..." She had no valid answer for that. We discussed some other things. It was really boring. The lawyers talked most of the time during this part. Then came the verdict. It is Tuesday now, and I'm up $50,000. The judge decided to go from $60,000 to $50,000, and he thought that B's and Entitled Mother's claim was ridiculous. Rightfully so. Entitled Mother actually lost $60,000 because of the court fees and lawyers, and also my lawsuit. I decided against doing the flop in the courtroom, but I did it when I was home. I think I'm going to use the money to go to NC State, which is the college I wanted to go to ever since I was 13. I took a leap year because I couldn't afford it, so come next August, I'll be in school. I put the rest away in the bank. Thank you for all the supportive comments. And our next story was posted by user Azil04, titled, Entitled Mother Says That I Should Be Arrested Because I Want to Do a Crossplay. So I'm Italian, sorry for bad English. Little backstory. So I want to do a crossplay for an anime convention in Italy. I always liked the idea of crossplaying, so I decided to do one for an anime con. I'm 15. Now for the story. This happened 3 months ago. I was going home by bus, and I started checking for a costume for a crossplay. I asked for advice in a Telegram group about cosplays. Everything was normal, until someone started talking at me. Meet Entitled Mother and Normal Guy. Entitled Mother with classic Karen accent. Excuse me, what do you want to do? I read your messages and I don't like that idea. Do you know that it's illegal? You mean crossplaying? Yes, it's illegal. You should be arrested. It's just a hobby. A lot of people do that. You gay freak. You should be arrested right now. I can't believe that you are like my son. Mum, stop. That's a normal hobby. I did that. You did what? You're grounded for a month, you gay freak. And then Entitled Mother went away. I think she reached her stop. And Normal Guy says, I'm extremely sorry. My mum has always been like this. I'm a cosplayer too. And then we started talking and we became friends. I've never seen his mum again. And our next story was posted by user VeinSlayer13, titled, Entitled Aunt and My Migraine, A Christmas Story. Happy New Year, Redditors! This story happened just over 20 years ago, and it only came to my mind over the holidays, as me and the cousins reminisced about those we remember fondly and those that are no longer welcome. Me is Magnetic Enchilada, EA Entitled Aunt, D is Dad, aka Father, Sir, Boss, M is Mum, aka the Family Matriarch, and GU is the Good Uncle, Mother's brother, Entitled Auntie's husband. So this was Christmas Day in the late 1990s. Back when my parents crammed nearly 20 people into their home for what passed as an annual family reunion. The cousins would often occupy themselves in the living room with whatever goodies they got, while the adults hung out in the back porch because this was North Carolina in December, and some families still come up from Florida. At around 3 p.m., the television hurt to even look at, and the lighting coming through the windows seemed to pierce the very depths of my brain. Yup, I knew what was coming. Went to my parents, excused myself, and went up to my room. Without Entitled Auntie, this would have just been how the migraine stole Christmas. For context, I was once tormented by rather horrendous cluster migraines that would take me out once or twice a month. For the unaware, these are chronic headaches characterized by severe pain, most often behind the eyes, that becomes worse over time, and in most cases are made even worse by bright light. No amount of Tylenol or Excedrin ever worked on me because, screw you, and the only real cure was to avoid light and try to pass out. For this reason, my parents had my bedroom windows equipped with some damn good blackout blinds. I blacked out of the room and laid down with an ice pack on my forehead. Sleep did not happen. At around 4 p.m., Entitled Auntie makes the executive decision that we need to take another family picture because the cousins all got new leather jackets from GU, and apparently my attendance was mandatory. I won't pretend to know exactly what was said between them, but my parents explained that I was in pain and probably wouldn't even want to stand upright for the next several hours. Entitled Auntie knew about my migraines, but decided that this was unacceptable because she needed more pictures for her photo albums. Entitled Auntie throws open my door and turns on the lights, which might as well have just been an uppercut to my mind, and started shouting at me in this condescending tone to get dressed and get downstairs. I groaned at her to kill the lights, that I couldn't even see with them on. Entitled Auntie demanded that I suck it up and stop avoiding the family, not quite accusing me of faking my pain, but seeming to think that I should just ignore the pain and splitting my skull in two. At that point, even attempting to shout back would have only made the pain worse. Getting up was not an option. Thankfully, Dad was right behind her and immediately flipped off the lights. Dad shouted at entitled auntie that this was a migraine and that the lights were only making it worse. Dad urged her to go back downstairs and leave me alone. You'd think that her husband's sister's husband shouting at her to leave his son alone would be enough. But this is entitled auntie. This was the same woman that believed in reincarnation and was adamant that she had been royalty in a past life. Yeah, entitled auntie believed this in her heart's heart of hearts, and believed like she could never be wrong. Around 20 minutes, and who knows how much arguing later, entitled auntie burst back into my room and flipped on the lights again, shouting for the whole family to hear how I needed to get up and be part of the family. Mum and Dad are right behind her, looking appalled and furious respectively, while GU just looked exhausted. Entitled auntie practically tossed a bottle of aspirin at me and shouted at me some more to stop being melodramatic. Mum responded by flipping off the lights and practically guarded the switch while screaming at her to get out of the house. GU stood with his sister pleading for entitled auntie to just stop. Entitled auntie just kept on lecturing until Dad had had enough and moved to pull her out of the room. Determined to win whatever she thought this was, entitled auntie grabbed the curtains with both hands and ripped them off the wall, flooding the room with crisp winter sunshine that sent me over the edge from miserable pain to puking pain. I vividly remembered GU shouting, "What the hell is wrong with you?" at entitled auntie as I stumbled past him and into the bathroom. Dad was beyond furious at this point, and in her unfathomable stupidity, entitled auntie thought pointing out how quickly I had jumped up to puke was hilarious. Dad responded by punching her like she was a man, splitting her lip and knocking her to the ground. Mum and grand uncle were shocked, but did not regret or relent, pulling her to her feet and roaring at her to get the hell out of this house. Entitled auntie, GU, and their sons were packed up and out of there within minutes. I thought I had witnessed the peak of his anger over all the times I had screwed up hard. What I heard from the bathroom that night taught me otherwise. There were no calls to the police or anything like that. Dad was very disappointed with himself, but refused to apologize and was much more upset that he had so thoroughly scared his nieces and nephews. GU was ticked at D, but refused to condemn how he had reacted. Entitled auntie never spoke to me or my parents again beyond inane expected pleasantries, and ceased to be my aunt within the next 3 years anyway. GU had since remarried and had never been happier. You'd think he was 10 years younger. Entitled auntie is still around, but has seemingly disappeared. I haven't spoken to her in over half of my life, and her own children are surprised when she bothers to reach out or respond to calls. Kinda ironic that the same woman who went off the deep end over family photos couldn't be bothered to be involved once her own children had families of their own. Ironic and rather sad. Edit. Migraine status. I appreciate the concern from all of those wondering, but my migraines become much more tolerable around high school, regressing 1 or 2 every month to 6 or 7 every year. I sort of just lived with them into my late 20s until my boss insisted I speak with a neurologist who did a workup on me and prescribed me sumatriptan. This stuff is a miracle drug that comes in these single-use nasal sprays. On one will kill a migraine within 20 to 30 minutes. Not going to a specialist sooner has become one of my greatest regrets in life. If you suffer migraines, speak with a neurologist. Odds are, something on the market will work wonders. And our last story was posted by user Inconvenient Silence, titled, Entitled Mother Abandons 3-year in my store and tried to pull a poor me act when I told her off. Saw an Emma the Arsehole post which reminded me of this woman. So I was a supervisor in a chain store in the UK. One night the manager left early, and it was me and 2 other staff members until close. A woman, entitled mother, came into the store with a baby and a 3-year-old. She wandered up and down the aisles until finally approaching me at the till. I was covering so my colleague could get her break, and couldn't let the other one cover as she wasn't allowed to leave her section. Entitled Mother scurried up to me with a pram and a 3-year-old in tow, and asked if we could let her use the bathroom to change her baby. I apologized and told her we couldn't, as our stock is kept back there, and it was for employees only. She pleaded to let her use it, saying she was a single mother and really needed to use it. I repeated myself and told her no with an apology, and said she could easily go to the McDonald's across the road, as they most likely would let her use theirs. She scoffed, saying how the manager always let her use it, and started wondering about the store again. A few minutes later, I saw her quickly leave the store. I thought, thank God, because I could her moaning up and down the aisles. I don't know what they meant by that. I went back to what I was doing when I started to hear sobbing, followed by ear-piercing screaming. I quickly ran to investigate and found the 3-year-old wandering up and down the sections, crying for her mummy. I kneeled down, still having an eye on the tills, and tried to calm the kid down. I told her nicely to follow me and took her to the tills. I was furious at Entitled Mother. Anything could have happened to her innocent little girl. A stranger could have easily left with her, and I wouldn't have noticed. No wonder the kid was so upset. I would be too if I was her. A while after, which is a good 30 to 40 minutes later, Entitled Mother showed up with the baby and was all smiles. She saw her daughter and started the whole, "Come on, time to go" crap with her. I stopped Entitled Mother because I was furious. I told Entitled Mother directly that we are not babysitters. We are a retail business, and I am appalled at the fact that she just left her kid here and how anything could have happened to her. Also explaining how upset she was. Instead of getting angry like most entitled mothers, she tried the whole poor me act. She began trying, and failing, to look sad and say how the manager said she said that I was wrong, and would look after her daughter, and how it wasn't her fault. She continued by saying that I don't understand how hard it is to raise 2 children single-handedly, and how at least my manager understood, followed by how she was going to tell her about the mistreatment and get me fired. She then had a smug look on her face as people watched on, looking angry at me. I just gave a blunt response back. I'm sorry, but my mother had 4 children under the age of 5 and was still able to watch all of us. She never abandoned us once in a store. I know it's hard raising kids by yourself, but abandoning them with strangers is a terrible idea. And as far as your claim to that said manager said it was okay, don't lie to my face. He left about 2 hours ago and would never let you do that, as my manager was strict. You are talking to the person in charge right now. Entitled Mother looked pretty shocked. She obviously assumed I was just a girl on the tills. I then told her if she wanted to put in a complaint, she can. She said that she did, so I gave her all the details with a smile and informed her that an investigation would be held. She looked pleased until I mentioned that part of the investigation would be to review the camera footage. Entitled Mother looked enraged at that point, grabbed her daughter, and left. I told everyone that the show was over and to carry on with what they were doing. She never complained. Edit. It was obvious she had something to eat while she was out. She had crumbs all over her. Edit 2. Had a nap and went to work. Checked my phone and God, there's loads of comments, so I'll clarify a few things. When my colleague got back from break, I checked the CCTV to see where Entitled Mother went. She did go to McDonald's, and I didn't see her leave there. I agree with a lot of comments that I was too nice about it and should have called the police. The good news is the group chat we posted her image in had all the stories in the local area in it, so they were all aware of her and posting updates. The chat used is mainly for logs on shop filters and criminal activity, so police are in the group. Edit 3. A lot of comments are telling me about calling the police, and some even saying about how they didn't understand why I wouldn't have done that. So I'm going to make it a point here. If you have never been in a situation, it's easier to say that you would do something differently, but when you are in the situation, you do something different from what you said. That is the case here. Before I used to say, call the police for God's sake, it's so obvious, when I had no experience in that situation. When this happened, what I said didn't matter. I didn't know what to do. My first instinct was to calm down the child, then investigate where the woman went to. I didn't want to involve the police straight away, as the police are hopeless anyway. A few times an assault like someone getting punched happened, and they didn't show up to investigate it until 2 weeks later. I was going to if she didn't show up at all. I did watch her a bit when she was in the McDonald's. If she left and didn't come back, then I would have called. If I left the building, I could lose my job. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Tell me what you thought of this one down in the comments down below. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I love you, and I love everything that you're doing today. Comment turtle again down in the description because I love you. Anyway, have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.